This is Hannibal here from thehannibaltv.com, and today is my special guest. I have the female wrestler that has my favorite style in all of professional wrestling, Victorya Vaughn, who is also known as Viva Van. She's wrestled all over the place and bases herself in PCW Ultra. How are you today?
I'm doing good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. How's the weather there in LA?
Well, it's very foggy over here. It's like we're living in Silent Hill because of all the fires that's going on and ashes are falling everywhere. So the weather is not that great right now.
Oh, that's not good at all.
Yeah.
So I know that you're working with Vietnam right now, trying to get wrestling started there. Is that where you're actually from?
My family's from Vietnam. I was born and raised out here in LA, but I just want to be able to help Vietnam pro wrestling as much as I can because it's so new out there. And they just recently had their first in-ring show about a month ago, so that's very exciting for them.
Oh, that's really cool. How did you get involved with that? Is it a friend of yours, or did they reach out to you?
How I got in touch with them was that I looked up on YouTube Vietnam Pro Wrestling because I'm like, are there any other Vietnamese wrestlers out there? I haven't met one. So I found this documentary based off of the small group in southern Vietnam, how they started up a school literally with nothing, but they don't have a ring. They just like throw shows en masse, and they do moonsaults. They do crazy flippy stuff just on a regular wrestling mat. So I hit them up to see if like I can get out there and book a show. They're like, yeah, you can definitely come out here, but the only problem is we don't have a ring, and we need help with that. And they told me that the amount of money it takes to build a ring out there was probably in the hundreds of thousands for them. But if you were to like translate that over to USD dollars, is only $4,000. And I figured that's something that we can reach definitely with the GoFundMe page. And that's when I decided to start a GoFundMe for them. And we shared it all over Twitter. And I think it took almost a month to get it.
So were you on the first show that they did over there?
I've never been out there. I mean, I've been out there when I was younger, but not out there for wrestling yet. I was going to, but then the pandemic happened.
Yeah, it's killed a lot of wrestling stuff, unfortunately, right now.
Yeah.
What brought your parents to the States from Vietnam?
Well, my mother, she's half white, and she, she's a product of the Vietnam War. She doesn't know her father or her mother, so she was given an opportunity to come to America. So she took that opportunity, and that's why I'm here.
Were you always a wrestling fan growing up?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Were you always a wrestling fan growing up, or were you into other sports?
Of course, definitely. I was always a wrestling fan growing up. There was a time where I think I was a fan like from first grade to third grade, like for sure. First grade to third grade, and then after it would be on and off. And it wasn't until I became an adult where I came back to it. So it was always something that came and go.
Who were some of your favorites growing up to watch?
The Rock, Stone Cold, Undertaker for sure. All the time.
What about death metal music? I know you're also a death metal vocalist. Has that always been the style of music you like to listen to?
Yes. I was in a death metal band. We were called Mocking of the Trinity. We're no longer around. But I am in the works of starting 2 new projects. And death metal, been listening to it for a while now, probably a little over a decade now. But I'm definitely into like the old school Swedish death metal. That's my jam right there.
You have a couple of fans on here. I posted a picture of you with your pentagram on, and people really take that seriously. And they had some questions why you wear that, and do you love Jesus and so forth. Like, what's the? I have a pentagram behind me as well, right up there. So I'm not holding it against you, but any particular reason you wear that necklace, which I like, by the way?
Thank you very much. So Pentagram has been more than just like, it doesn't represent, like, to me, because I listen to death metal and I see pentagrams on all these album covers, you know, for a long time. It's a normal thing for me. So a lot of people like relate that to being a Satanist, but I'm really not a Satanist. It's just the music and the style. So no need to be scared, everyone.
And you don't have your vampire teeth in today, which I really like when you have those in. Now, there's a guy here. I don't know if you ever watched WCW. There was a wrestler called Jerry Flynn in WCW, and this guy wants to know if you ever saw him wrestle or if he inspired you at all.
Jerry Flynn, not a huge inspiration to me, but definitely a wrestler that I did watch. I can't say that he's the one that influenced me in wrestling, but he's definitely up there.
And Mike Hawk wants to know how it feels being the first Vietnamese American female wrestler. Do you feel like it comes with a lot of responsibility?
Yeah, I do. I feel kind of pressured. If I feel very honored to know that, because I didn't know that for a very long time. I think it took me a year and a half into wrestling for the people in Vietnam to confirm, yeah, you're the only Vietnamese female that we know of. We don't know any other ones.
There's a fan on here. Are you into Swedish death metal?
Yep. We were just mentioning that not too long ago. That's my jam.
So who is your favorite group from over there?
Necrophobic, for sure. Unleashed. My two things.
And someone wants to know if you still wrestle for Arizona Wrestling.
Not since the whole pandemic happened. I was supposed to go back out there and everything got shut down again. Do plan on getting my title back.
Did you end up winning the SoCal Rookie of the Year? I know you were in the running to win it, but I'm not sure if they even had the awards due to the pandemic.
No, I did not.
Well, you were nominated. That's pretty good because California has some of the top independent wrestling in the United States. So pretty good to be nominated anyways.
Yeah, it was cool. It was a cool run.
Are you a fan of RVD, who's wrestled for PCW a bunch of times? Someone's asking.
Yes. Yes, I am a fan of RVD.
Favorite match of his?
Favorite match of his would probably be, I love all his matches with Jerry Lynn. I feel like they bring the best out of each other.
Now, Funeral Wrestling says he loves it. You're a legit metalhead. What is your all-time favorite band?
My all-time favorite band is, of course, Death. But if we go deeper into Swedish death metal, would be Necrophobic and Unleashed.
And between AEW or WWE, Chris Dancy wants to know if you see yourself wrestling in either company in the near future. Obviously, probably both are goals for you, but is there one in particular you'd be more interested in?
I think they're both great companies, you know, so I think I don't want to say that I want to pick one or the other. I am working towards just to improve in wrestling, just to grow from it. So any opportunity from both would be great.
And Sam Lenz is asking your thoughts on Mayhem.
Mayhem, cool. The movie, I did not like. If you saw the movie, it was kind of corny.
Are you a horror movie fan?
Love horror movies. I actually have a Shudder account.
Oh, that's pretty cool. What are some of your top horror movies?
Well, all-time favorite would be The Exorcist. That's just a classic. That's something that will always be my favorite. I think I was 6 years old when my stepfather showed me that movie, and ever since then, I've been hooked on horror movies.
That's actually my favorite horror movie as well. That's a pretty cool one. Mm-hmm. They still play it here on Halloween at an actual theater like every year.
Oh yeah, and I also saw that they're making a remake for 2021.
Oh wow.
If that's true, I am very excited to see how they're going to redo it.
So what was your actual training like? I know you trained at the Santino Brothers Academy. I unfortunately heard, I don't think they're in business anymore, are they? But what was the training like over there?
Yeah. So unfortunately, they had Santino Bros had to shut down because we couldn't hold classes. So it was just best to like close the school for now. But I know they are working on finding a new location. But the training there is really hard, very tough. But they do make you work hard for your spot. They make you work hard, as in keeping up with your in-ring cardio. It's like boot camp style training, and yeah, I'm very proud to be from Santino Bros.
Was it hard as far as did they make you do a lot of chops and like hard hitting stuff too, or just more cardio like you mentioned?
A little bit of both. So we do celebrate with chops. Whenever you graduate, you celebrate with a bunch of chops.
Oh, wow. Who hits the hardest of all the women that you've wrestled?
Who hits the hardest? Out of all the women at Santino Bros, or you just mean in general?
Anyone that whether students or anyone you've been in the ring with?
There's a lot of tough hitters out there, so it's hard to pick. Ruby Reyes is one of them. She's a hard hitter. Thunder Rosa, and that's the ones that come to mind for now.
So you've been in there with Thunder Rosa, who's recently appeared in AEW.
Mm-hmm.
She had one Combate Americas MMA fight, I think. Have you done any MMA training at all to supplement your wrestling experience?
No, I have not. What I do is I did find like a private wrestling ring not too far from my home, and that's where I've been going to train. We keep our class very small with only 3 to 2 people at a time.
I know that you were wrestling pretty much as your main job before all of this.
Yeah.
What did you have to get a real job with this lockdown, or are you finding other ways to scrape by? I know you just got your bachelor's, I believe.
Yeah. So wrestling was my job before this whole thing happened. So as soon as I graduated, I had big plans, that I was going to go full force after graduation, but obviously that didn't happen. So I figured I graduated with a marketing degree. Why not use that and start a business? And so that's what I've been working on.
What type of business is it?
It's a cosmetic and accessory line called Hellbent Glam.
Okay, that explains why Black Cult just called you the Hellbent Queen. Now, Matt Miller has a bit of a complicated question. Would you rather have been in WCW during the 90s or in WWE in the 90s with the Attitude Era?
I would love to be in WWE with the Attitude Era.
Do you like the direction wrestling is taken now? I know you're trying to get a job, so you can't be too candid, but I don't know. It's mostly adults watching, but it's very childlike these days.
The direction that wrestling is going, I love it. I mean, I don't like what's happening now because of how everything has slowed down. But before it slowed down to, I think the fans are great. They're very super supportive. They're very loyal. I thought metal fans were the only fans that were loyal, but wrestling fans beat them to it.
How have your experiences been with the fans so far? Because we know that sometimes, especially with women that look like you, they can sometimes go a little bit overboard. Has it been positive so far, or have you had any obsessed people?
It's been positive so far. I see a lot of the same faces at shows, and none of them have disrespected me in any way. So it's been very positive. I mean, there may be stalkers online, but I haven't had any stalkers in person, I don't think.
Would you ever consider doing a combined death metal / wrestling show?
Oh yeah, definitely. That'd be so cool.
Carlos is asking if you could share more details on wrestling Thunder Rosa.
Um, well, wrestling Thunder Rosa, she's a very tough opponent. She's a very hard hitter, and I do hope that the next time I get in the ring with her, that we get to do a little more.
You've also wrestled Jessica Havoc. What was it like being in the ring with her?
It was awesome. I learned a lot from wrestling someone that's obviously bigger in size, so it was more of a challenge for me. But yet, I do that's another match where I wish I had more time. You know, obviously with like TV and stuff, the matches don't really get to go as long.
Now, how long have you actually been in the wrestling business? There's a bunch of people on here commenting that you look very young. I know you are young, but have you been in it many years?
I've been in it for 2 years.
And I guess this is your goal is to make it a career. You've given up the death metal band and you're giving all your attention to wrestling now.
Yeah.
Do you watch any other sports like MMA or anything, or are you pretty focused on wrestling?
I'm pretty focused on wrestling, but I do enjoy watching boxing from time to time.
Who are some of your favorite boxers?
Canelo, Pacquiao.
Now that's a good sport to train into for cardio.
Oh yeah, definitely. Their cardio is on point.
Now I know you have a bit of a wild side, obviously, if you're a death metal vocalist. What's the craziest thing you've ever done?
The craziest thing I've ever done. Well, I don't really do anything crazy. I know people assume that like if you're a metalhead, you must be insane or out of control. I mean, the craziest thing I've done is probably like jumped a high 10-foot gate into a haunted park just to see if I could see anything paranormal.
Did you? We're always interested to hear about that on this channel. Did you see any ghosts or anything when you were in there?
I did hear some noises and I did see some weird things. I don't know. It could be anything, to be honest. It could be other people that broke into the park just like me and just scaring me. But you do like, I don't know. The mind plays tricks on you when you're looking for things.
Did you ever have any haunted experiences other than that?
Oh, yeah. I did growing up. I grew up in a haunted house.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Could you elaborate on that?
Well, so I would have to tell the story of my first experience was we were playing, my grandma used to be a babysitter, so I would play with all these kids that she would watch. And we were playing hide and seek. And there was this restroom in the back of the house. And for some reason, that back of the house is always kind of dark, cold, and eerie feeling. But I thought, like, because at the moment, I was like, this is the perfect place to go hide. No one's going to come look for me here. So I just remember I ran into the restroom. And the moment I ran into the restroom, I looked at the mirror over the sink, and I thought to myself, this was a mistake. Immediately, I felt it was a mistake. And I heard a woman's voice screamed and yelled at me. The light flickered on and off, and the toilet seat slammed shut by itself. And I ran out so fast. I think I was about 5 years old when that happened to me.
Did your parents believe you when you told them?
Oh, yeah. Other people have experienced other things in the house, which is why my family decided to move out of it eventually, because they felt it was bad luck. Like it was a bad omen to live there.
That's got to be pretty traumatizing as a young person, although I would love to live in a haunted house now.
It was scary, but I think that like made me more interested in the paranormal. Like I love watching paranormal stuff on YouTube all the time, and I used to watch Ghost Adventures every week. But right now, I've been on Nuke's Top 5 weekly. Like, whenever he uploads a new video, I watch it right away.
Are you one of the people that are, like, against Ouija boards and feel they're bad, or are you the type that would play with them in a cemetery or something like that to try and activate?
I am 100% against it. And I did, when I was younger, I don't know why, but my step grandmother bought me a Ouija board from Toys R Us. I don't know why she did that. I felt like maybe she doesn't like me or something because, I'm the step granddaughter. I don't know. But she bought that for me, and my cousin took it out of my hands. I'm completely against it, though. I do believe that can cause a lot of bad things to happen.
So they say. I used one once and it activated something, but it wasn't that bad of an experience. Carlos wants to know where that haunted house was. I'm going to guess it was in LA.
Yes, in a small town in LA called La Puente.
And Woody is asking what your view is on wrestlers making a living outside the ring at the same time of wrestling. Obviously, as an independent wrestler, a lot of them do that.
My view on that is it's good. You should have another source of income, especially if you're doing independent wrestling. Not only because of independent wrestling, but because of things like the pandemic, You should always be prepared to have another source of income somewhere.
Matt Miller is asking, who was your role model, the wrestler that made you want to actually get into the wrestling business?
Undertaker, for sure. Undertaker, Stone Cold, Lita, pretty much all the wrestlers I grew up watching during the Attitude Era, that's one.
And that leads into this guy's question. Mike Hawk wants to know what you think of Lita. Do you think she helped break barriers in women's wrestling?
Yes, I think she did. I think she's total badass, and she definitely was one of the first that I remember doing moonsaults off the top.
As far as top rope maneuvers, what are some of the stuff that you can do? We posted a match on this channel with PCW's permission, by the way. Anyone watching that wants to check you out against Sumi Sakai from last year, I believe it's a pretty good match.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't see you do too much off the top rope in that one. What can you do, if anything, off the top?
I don't really do much stuff off the top. I do sitting senton sometimes, or maybe meteor from the top. But other than that, I try to keep it simple.
And someone's asking here, I'm pretty sure he means, do you like being a heel or a baby face? But he said he wrote it hell.
I'm a tweener. I love being in between.
You have an evil look to you, but you're very sweet as a person, so it's a little bit deceiving. Even looking at your entrance for that PCW match, like you look very mean, but you're still like slapping the wrestlers' hands on your way down. Big Dems is asking, did you get your name from the Texas thrash band? I've seen you guys wearing their t-shirts.
My name?
Yeah, you'll have to be more clear, Big Dems. I don't know if they're talking about Warbeast. But how did you get into Warbeast anyways? Let's talk about that, because that's the big faction in PCW Ultra that you're the manager of.
Well, I was a merch girl at PCW for about a whole year before I actually joined Warbeast. And Joseph just messaged me one day and, told me I had the look that would fit the group. And that's how we got started from there.
You mentioned you were a fan of The Undertaker. Someone on here says you would look good with The Undertaker. He is retired now. What were your thoughts on the documentaries WWE put out of him? I'm sure you probably watched them, where it showed him like behind the character for the first time.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was really interesting to see the side of Undertaker that, where he shows his vulnerability, and it's okay. Like, he makes it okay to show your vulnerability. Like, he's nervous before he walks out, and you wouldn't think Undertaker would be nervous.
And Sam wants to know your thoughts on Danzig musician Erie Vaughn.
Cool, but not really my thing.
And someone wanted to know your favorite food to both eat and cook.
To both eat and cook.
Yeah, like, what's your favorite food as far as eating, and is there any specialties you have as far as cooking? I don't know if you're much of a chef or not.
Yeah, I do cook. I cook for my whole family, actually. I think my favorite thing that I make for my family would be pasta. Just anything that has to do with pasta. I make all kinds of different pasta, so there's not like a specific one. But when it comes to pasta, that's my favorite to make for my family. But when it comes to going out to eat on like a cheat meal or something like that, I love carne asada fries.
And they have some great restaurants in LA, of course. Is there any particular place you like to go eat? They have great sushi up there.
Sushi is a good one too. Sushi is also another favorite of mine. But when it comes to restaurants, like if I were to find a spot for carne asada fries, I'd go to in Alfredo's or in Albert's.
And Carlos gave us a $20 tip, and he says he supports the channel. Love the interviews, especially this one. So thank you, Carlos.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Now, we know you're not going to get into this, but this guy wants to know how you feel about Cody Rhodes. We won't get into my views on him because that's a different thing, but I'm sure you probably like Cody and Brandy Rhodes.
Yeah, I have much respect for them. They're making waves in their own lane, you know?
Dawn Houston says you're so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
And someone wanted to know what your favorite holiday was. I think it possibly could be Halloween.
Halloween is one of them, and I also love Christmas.
What's the best Christmas gift you've ever received?
The best Christmas gift. For some reason, my mind is blank on everything that I've ever gotten for Christmas has just like left my brain. I don't know about like presents, but gifts, I mean, just seeing family, that's probably the best gift to me.
Well, that's a good sign that you care more about being in good company than
well, the older you get, the less presents you get. So that's probably why I can't think of anything.
That's true. Have you received any gifts from fans yet? I know a lot of the divas get gifts at shows.
No, at shows, yeah, I do get like they'll give me gift cards to Starbucks or Subway. So thoughtful.
And as far as your workout regimen, obviously you keep yourself in really good condition. You already look like you could be on TV for a WWE diva or something. What's your training routine like?
Well, I try to add more cardio in as of lately. So I do like 3 to 4 days. Like every other day I switch between lifting weights and doing cardio, if that makes sense.
And do you keep a fairly strict diet, or are you blessed with a good metabolism?
I try to. I try to keep a strict diet. I did just recently got in touch with the nutritionist that's been helping me these past few weeks because I'm just trying to prepare for anything, you know, for just in case. It seems like there's a few shows coming back around.
Yeah, California, I heard, is really strict, aren't they? Like as far as being one of the toughest states for the lockdown. How has that affected you?
Oh, it has definitely affected me. I don't go out at all. I only go out when I have to for, you know, to go get groceries or, you know, go to the doctors or something like that. It just don't really hang out or for training. That's the only other time that I leave my house.
And as far as the riots and all that craziness that was going on, did that not happen in your area? Were you lucky enough to avoid all that stuff?
No, it happened in my area. It happened all over LA. definitely everywhere.
Is it more calm now, or is it still happening?
It's still happening in certain places in California, but it has calmed down a lot.
This is a funny question. Who would you rather date, the Honky Tonk Man or Greg the Hammer Valentine, if you had to choose one?
Neither.
They're both not the nicest people in real life, on top of being much older than you.
Oh, yeah.
But I was surprised. Actually, Medusa went out with Greg Valentine, which seems like such an odd couple. I don't know if you remember Alundra Blaze, but like she's so positive, and like Greg Valentine is like always depressed looking and grumpy.
Well, people do say opposites attract, so it could possibly happen.
Someone's asking what your favorite animal you ever owned or want to own would be.
Well, I love my dogs. They're my children. I got about 3 of them.
What breed?
Well, one is Chihuahua mixed with Dachshund and Pitbull. So he looks like a long, buff Chihuahua. And then I have a Jack Russell Terrier, and she almost looks full Jack until you see her ears are just pointing up all the time. And on her birth certificate, it says that she's full Jack, but she's not. She's definitely half Chihuahua. And those two made one baby that I have now.
That's pretty cute. I like the small dogs. I have a miniature poodle. She thinks she's a lot bigger. She sees herself as a part pit bull, maybe.
They do think they're a lot bigger.
She recently got into it with a skunk.
No.
Yes. Now, Jonathan wants to know if you could beat Tessa Blanchard, former PCW champion. Who knows? She might be back one day.
Oh, yeah. I definitely think she will be back. And I don't know. I would definitely like to wrestle her one day.
Have you done any intergender matches? They're pretty popular these days.
Yes, I have.
How was that experience?
It's always a good experience to do intergender. I think it pushes you more. And it's always a lot of fun to change it up. I think my last intergender match was with Dom Kubrick.
And as far as intergender, Lance Storm has recently come out lately and said because of the speaking out allegations, they shouldn't even do intergender in wrestling. But do you think they should eliminate a whole style of wrestling just because of a few weirdos?
No, because I think intergender wrestling has nothing to do with people being the way they are to women. Be like that. You know, people are like that when they're talking to women or in the locker room. That's what the speaking out movement is about. But when it comes to wrestling, that's a whole nother thing. Those two shouldn't even be compared to each other.
Have your experiences in the back been pretty good with the male wrestlers, or have you ever had anything uncomfortable?
No, I haven't had anything uncomfortable. Everything's been pretty good. I just try to be respectful. That's the main thing. Just try to be respectful backstage. And there are a few people who are mean, you know, because if you're new, you're the newbie. They kind of treat you like, you're not important. But other than that, like, nothing where I feel the need to speak out or anything like that.
And you've had a few questions on here wondering if you use marijuana. We know it's legal in California. It's legal here in Canada too.
No, I do not. I'm completely straight edge.
So no alcohol either?
Nope.
Very interesting. Now, as far as, I think you have a boyfriend, but there were some fans that wanted to know what your ideal date would be if you had like the ideal place of something you'd want to do or something like that.
My ideal date will always be at the Blue Bayou at Disneyland. It's romantic and dark at the same time.
Is it true that they're moving Disneyland to Texas or something, or is that just a rumor?
how can they move Disneyland to Texas? I mean, maybe build a new park there, but not move completely. No, I don't think so. I think they're getting ready to open back up. There's rumors going around because I think Disneyland is decorating their entrance for Halloween. So a lot of fans were like, A lot of people are wondering, why are you decorating for Halloween? Are you opening up soon? But Disney hasn't said anything yet.
They're talking here about canceling Halloween this year. Is there any talk of that in LA?
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any trick-or-treating this year. And if there is, there's just people not listening.
Eddie G says he saw you wrestle in AAA against Hijo de Fantasma, which I'm probably pronouncing wrong.
Yeah, Hijo de Fantasma.
How was that experience?
That was a surprise. I didn't expect to walk out there with him that night, and I was very honored to be able to do that. It was such a crazy night. It ended up being one segment I got put on, and then I got added on to another segment, and then I got thrown into the main finale of the show with them, so it was a lot of fun. That night is very memorable.
Was it Conan that got you booked in AAA, or how did you end up in there?
Yeah, I got in through Conan.
Was it just one match or one night work, or were you on a tour?
It was just a one night.
Mike is asking if you have an OnlyFans page.
No, I do not.
Dawn wants to know what your worst wrestling injury has been so far. Hopefully nothing serious.
My worst wrestling injury happened during training. It always happens during training, never at a live show or anything, thankfully. But my worst injury was getting dropped on my head from a power slam.
Ooh, that's painful. Did you have to go to the hospital, or was that just like a stinger type thing?
It was a stinger, and not only that, once I got dropped on my head, I bridged backwards, heard every bone from my neck down to my spine crack, and I had a concussion, went to the hospital that night, and thankfully nothing major from that, but it was really painful.
Do you see yourself living in LA the rest of your life, or if let's say you got in WWE and could move anywhere in the US, is there anywhere else you would prefer to live?
I'm a huge Disney person, so anywhere with a Disney park, I can live and survive. I think I'll be okay in Florida, right next to Disney World, but I also love LA too. So.
Is there anywhere that you haven't been on vacation yet, that if you could go on like a couple-week vacation, that you'd like to go in this world just for fun, not necessarily even for wrestling?
I would love to go to Vietnam for a vacation. Go back to Vietnam. Also, I would love to visit Hawaii.
Yeah, that would be a good one. I don't know if there's much wrestling going on there anymore, but they used to have a territory.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
And as far as your dream match, someone wants to know who would be your dream opponent.
My dream opponent. I don't know why I always blank out when I get asked this question. Honestly, I can't think of a specific person for a dream match, but I want to be able to wrestle anyone and everyone. I think the more wrestlers you get to wrestle, the more you grow. So I just want to be able to get in the ring with anyone.
Have you ever seen Lufisto in action? She's the ladies champion right now of our league up here in Canada.
Oh, yeah, I've heard great things about her.
Now, Taylor Hendricks has a look similar to yours, gothic style. She was in Ring of Honor and Impact, martial arts ability. Do you think you could have a good match with a girl like her?
Oh, yeah, definitely. We've definitely tried to make it happen. It just, schedule-wise, it didn't work out whenever we did try to plan. But I think I'd be able to have a good match with her. It'll be fun. I think it'd be fun.
Well, maybe up here one day if they ever reopen the border, because both of you are two that we'd like to have up here in Canada.
Aw.
Medicine Man says hello from Chicago. Hope all is well. Have you wrestled up in Chicago?
No, I haven't, but I would love to one day.
Lou Phillips says, who did you model your gimmick after?
So I modeled my gimmick. Well, when I first started, I think I modeled it towards like someone like Cassandra from Wayne's World, but I think it definitely has grown a lot more since then and has gotten heavier.
Really? Now that you mentioned it, I could definitely see that. That's interesting.
Yeah, because the whole heavy metal gimmick was like mainly based off of her. But in real life, I love death metal. So.
And she, of course, beat up those guys at Wade's World.
Yeah, she did.
This is a good question because you do have some very nice tattoos. Lou Phillips wants to know, how many tattoos do you have?
I have 4.
I know you got the Little Mermaid one that we can see on your one arm.
Yeah.
Is there any others that are visible without?
On my wrists, I have strength and well, it's kind of hard for me to show you, but this is supposed to be shown like this. Strength and courage, or brave, one or the other. And then I have Death, my favorite death metal band, on my ribs, which I probably won't show, but there's pictures of it somewhere online.
And I'm sure you're going to get more as time goes on now that you've started.
I actually don't know. I mean, I've thought about it. I've thought about getting more, but then I don't know. Like, the older I get, the hype for tattoos kind of like died down for me.
This Mr. Lopez here says you're blowing up. You deserve to be PCW champion, in his opinion. He says, come on, metal wrestling and asada fries.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome, right? An awesome mix right there.
Don Houston wants to know your favorite Disney movie.
For the longest time, it was The Little Mermaid. But as I, get older, I think I enjoy all the Pixar movies. Like Up. Up is a favorite of mine.
Could you have beaten China when she was in WWE? Matt wants to know, and I want to know what you thought of China.
I love China. I love China. There would be I feel like she broke down barriers for us. So would I be able to beat her? Probably not. But I think I can learn a lot from her.
And someone says on here that Cassandra from Wayne's World was also the relic hunter.
Oh.
Big Dummy says hello from the South where wrestling is still real.
Hello.
Dawn wants to know if you're into any religion, which is a topic we never usually get into on this channel.
Oh, it's probably because of all the pentagrams that are going on. That's why everyone's like, let's ask her about religion. I don't have a specific religion that I believe in. I do believe that there is, I don't know, a higher power out there. I do believe there's someone out there that created all of this, and that, there are times where I feel like I've said a prayer to myself and it was actually answered. So I do believe in something, but I don't have a religion that I call, like, I'm not Christian, I'm not Catholic. I was raised as a Catholic, but I was also raised as a Buddhist the first half of my life too. So it's just all religions just treat you, or just show you to just treat people right, have good morals. That's all that it is,
Do you think you would have fit in well in ECW? You strike me as someone that probably would have.
Oh, I think I would.
Other than the straight edge part. Francine, I guess, was fairly straight edge. What did you think of Francine? I interviewed her recently.
I didn't get to see the interview. I didn't get to see the interview, so I can't say much.
But as far as like she used to manage Shane Douglas, and you're a manager, any thoughts on her as a manager?
I think she's awesome. Yeah.
Tiger Woods says who would win between Jason and Michael Myers?
Come on now, Michael Myers.
And if you could have a superpower, what would it be if you could choose any superpower, and why?
Superpower would be to be able to eat anything I want and never gain weight. Is that a superpower?
Now, I hope your answer is no to this, but Colonel Quayle says, would you do death matches? I know you managed a death match with, or a hardcore match with Warbeast against Pentagon Jr. and someone. It's on this channel. But would you actually participate in that and mess yourself up?
There are times where I'm like, no, I'll never do that. And then there are times where I'm like, I want to at least try some, try it once. But I don't know. We'll see. Never say never, right?
Now we have a woman on here that says, you are an inspiration, Viva. You make me want to become a wrestler. AEW, WWE needs you on their show. Love from Florida.
Oh, thank you so much.
Now, speaking of Viva, do you still do the Viva gimmick? Do you want to explain to fans that you actually have two gimmicks, the more sinister Victorya Vaughn and then Viva Van, I think?
Yes, the Viva gimmick is my main gimmick, the one I do the most. That's the one that I'm always constantly working as. And it's just a heavy metal chick. I love heavy metal.
And what made you come up with the two gimmicks? Because there's not too many wrestlers out there that have multiple gimmicks, at least in Canada.
Well, the opportunity that was given with Warbeast obviously has a different direction where the Viva gimmick wouldn't fit. So that's how we came up with Victorya Vaughn.
Now, I don't know if this is a joke question or not, but this guy wants to know, Pulsar Lights, do you prefer gold, silver, or Bitcoin over a 401k?
Huh?
I guess it's a financial question, which...
but that's like a bunch of gold, silver...
Or Bitcoin. I'd rather have, like, investments of that or get that, or a 401k, which I don't think any wrestler has a 401k.
401k.
Carlitos asked if you have a signature submission.
Yes, it was inspired by the Muda lock. Instead of the Muda lock, I kind of reversed it, and I call it the Hellbent lock, where the other person ends up bridging.
I see. Sam says you're super hot. That's your superpower.
Aww.
This guy says you could be in movies. I mean, you live in LA. You have a good look. There's a lot of wrestlers out there that do acting. Have you dabbled in that at all yet?
Yes. I did do acting about, I want to say in 2011, 2012. I did a lot of extra work, but the auditions and the amount of time that you need to give for acting was very hard to like go to school at the same time, because literally you had to give up your whole time and just wait and be on call. So I think I gave up on acting around that time, but recently I did get brought back into acting for a show on Netflix.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Are you allowed to say which show?
No. Not as of right now. Production has stopped, so I don't know if it's still gonna continue or not. So I can't really say anything.
If you could have any metal band create your intro music for wrestling, which band would it be?
There's so many good bands out there. I can't pick. Well, if it's for Viva, probably ask Loudness to make another cool version, because that's the song that I come out to, is to Loudness, Crazy Nights. So I would probably ask Loudness to do another one for me.
We have another music question from Medicine Man. Since you like heavy metal, have you heard of the band Sabotage from the 1980s? What do you think of them? If you've never heard of them, I suggest checking it out.
Oh, I would definitely check out more of their stuff. I have seen their name around for sure, but I haven't really given them a listen.
Big Dummy wants to know if Alice Cooper or King Diamond, who do you like better?
I can't pick between the two. They're completely different, and they're both great.
Have you seen either of them in concert? Obviously, all the bands play.
I've seen King Diamond before.
Did you ever listen to hair metal at all? I know it's a little bit before your time.
Yeah, I did go through a hair metal phase. Dokken is my favorite hair metal band.
Of course, LA is like the place where everyone came from in the hair metal industry.
Mm-hmm.
Pulsar Lights wants to know your thoughts on Iron Maiden.
Iron Maiden's cool. Love them. Love Judas Priest more though, but
And Sam says Sabotage rules. Were you a fan of Sabotage?
Oh no, this question was asked earlier, I think.
Oh yeah, the guy Medicine Man asked that.
Yeah, I'll definitely check them out.
Yeah, something to look forward to. And if people want to check you out, where can they follow you on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram?
So you guys can follow me at Hellbent Vixen on IG and Instagram. Oh, IG and Twitter, my bad. And then on Facebook, you can find me at Viva Van. George Lynch, yeah.
Oh, you're a fan of George Lynch.
Well, George Lynch was in Dokken. He's still great, yeah.
Have you ever met like any of the really famous wrestlers like Stone Cold or The Rock or any of those top guys yet?
I've walked past The Rock when I was doing extra work. I think October of last year. I was in the same area as him, but I didn't really get to directly meet him. So that was pretty surreal.
What's your worst experience been with LA traffic?
My worst experience with LA traffic? Getting caught in any parade or anything where there's like a big gathering where they shut down streets. Because usually like I'm not aware of it when an event is about to happen. So I decided to drive out like it's a regular day, and I end up getting caught in it. And I'll get stuck there for like 3 hours in my car.
What kind of car do you drive?
Right now, I drive a Honda Civic.
Any dream car for when you get that big contract?
I don't really, to be honest, that's the one thing that I like about myself. I don't really care for cars. Like, if it's a good car and it's good on gas, that's all right with me. I don't have a dream car or anything like that.
We've done some interviews with Amber Nova. She has that Chevy Nova. Have you seen her at all? She's a pretty good wrestler.
Yes, I've seen her. I haven't seen her car, though.
It's a nice car, but she's a mechanic, and she knows how to take good care of it.
That's pretty cool.
Dawn wants to know what you think of Pantera.
Pantera is a cool band. Definitely.
Mr. Unknown says, are you a fan of punk?
I'm not a huge fan of punk, but I did like the Devashkas.
Melvin says, do you like the Oak Ridge Boys? That's got to be a joke. And DX Factor says, you're so hot. Tiger Woods says, what do you like better, guitarists, vocals, or drummers?
I love doing vocals. That's what I know.
If you had like $1,000 to waste to throw away on anything, what would you spend it on?
$1,000? I have to waste it? Like I can't save it or anything? If I had $1,000, I would save it. But if I can't save it, then I would spend it on like a family vacation or something.
Do you like Spending time with your family. I guess you still live with your family, obviously. Are you close with them?
Yes, my family is very important to me.
I see. And I think you have a partner. Are you in a serious relationship,
Yes,
or
I am.
is he a wrestler by any chance?
No. Everyone assumes that he is because he's 6'5" and he's also a metalhead. So it looks like he should be a wrestler, but he's not.
What does he do? Is he into metal or anything? You said he's a metalhead, but does he perform or anything like that?
Yeah, he was in a band. But right now he just works in marketing. That's his main focus right now.
Have you had any talks with WWE? Like, have they reached out to you to do extra work or anything like that?
Oh yeah, I've done extra work for them a few times.
What was that experience like?
It was very fun. Learned a lot. Very professional setting. It was very interesting to watch how everything is scheduled behind the scenes. So that was very interesting.
Did they use you on TV for anything, or was it just a deal where you're just there in case they need you for something?
A few times I was supposed to be used for a few like skits that they had, but it just ended up not happening. I don't know if they ran out of time or something, but the one time that they did use me was for the Jose Congo line.
Were the wrestlers fairly friendly to you back there? Because I remember when I was doing it, some were nice and others were kind of like looking at you like you're just an extra.
I don't remember any bad looks from any wrestlers there. A lot of them are super nice. Like they'll come up to you and they appreciate your time. I feel like it's usually the wrestlers that have worked in the indies. They know what it's like. So they're nicer to you and they appreciate your time. So they always tell you thank you for being there, even though they don't need to do that. And then some of them even come up to you and introduce their name. Like, of course we know, like Mickey James. When I met her, she came up to me. She's like, "Hi, I'm Mickey." And I'm like, "Of course you are. We all know you are. You don't have to introduce yourself." But I thought that was pretty cool.
Were you influenced at all by Luna Vachon? Someone's asking.
No, but she is really badass. And I think I can add some of her influence now because I feel like I'm always growing, you know? I think I started learning more about her after I got into the wrestling business.
And I know you are straight edge, so you probably don't go out, but someone's asking your favorite club on the Sunset Strip.
I don't have a favorite club. I don't even know any club names. I'm very bad with club names, but I do like to go to West Hollywood when I do go clubbing.
Thunder wants to know if you're an Ozzy Osbourne fan.
Not a huge Ozzy Osbourne fan, but love him when he was in Black Sabbath.
And Carlos says, how could anyone look bad at you? That's a good point. There's not very many people that are going to give you the cold shoulder. This guy says, interesting interview. He's a metal fan. Definitely going to check you out, especially after your praise of Judas Priest. And Dawn wants to know who's the most famous wrestler you've wrestled.
The most famous wrestler I've wrestled? I probably would say Lady Shani at AAA.
I guess there's not much going on in Mexico now. You probably would have been back if it hadn't been for all of this stuff going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on Charlotte Flair?
I think she's amazing. I think she's great at what she does. She can back up whatever she says, and that takes a lot. I don't know anyone who can do that as well as her.
What about Becky Lynch, who's taking some time off now?
Oh, Becky Lynch, total badass. She is the man.
What do you think now that there's an opening in WWE? Do you think like Tessa Blanchard's more likely going to be going there, or could you see her in AEW where her dad is when she finally goes back to wrestling?
I think she'd be great in anywhere she goes. She's really good, so I think she'd fit in anywhere.
And last question I'll give is from Katie, another female watching today. She says WWE and AEW need to pick you up, girl. How would a match against, I'll say this name wrong because I don't watch WWE, but
Asuka.
Asuka. How would that go?
I think it'd be a great match. I think it'd be a lot of fun to wrestle Asuka. Aw.
Well, and to close this off, let's say you had a match tonight against Asuka. What would you say? Let's give the fans a sample of your promo ability. Close this off with a promo on Asuka.
Kind of putting me on the spot here, huh?
Yes, I am. It's funny.
Well, I'm the Hellbent Vixen, and I'm coming for that title, Asuka. So be ready. Stay Hellbent.